What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the ever-evolving, never-ending Ready, Set podcast. As I used to say, if society's a joke, then we're just here for the first set. All right, so we're going to be talking about AOC and the nature of the alleged violation she has basically made that the Office of Congressional Ethics is putting out against her. So we're going to not break it down, but we're going to kind of go into it and discuss what is going on because honestly, if you watch any of the mainstream media, they are definitely not talking about that. But first, let's talk about some announcements really quickly. As you can see, we kind of updated the set, added a little palm tree behind me there, upgraded the rings. You can see we got it in a nice little box here. You know, it looks cool. I mean, I really like this side of the set, if you will. I know Ken's digging around in there somewhere. He's somewhere in that bush. I haven't found him yet, but God damn it, I will find that bastard. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, guess what? We have a new collection to add to our neocon shelf. And guess who it is? Actually, before I unveil it, I want you to, no one's going to, but I'm going to ask you anyway, to leave your comment below. Pause the video, leave your comment who you think it's going to be next, and we'll see who gets it right. All right, so let's look into this really quickly. Okay, so I've taken it out of the box so it doesn't ruin the surprise right out of the gate. And we are going to find out who we are getting to our collection here. Let's find out here. Well, I mean, it's not a complete Warhawk shelf without this person. And let's see, hopefully I don't break this thing here. The head pops off. Wouldn't that be funny? Come on, get out. All right, let's see. Are we ready here? Of course, I got to unwrap it. Now, I got to tell you, don't you dare ever play the woman card against this person because deal me in.
Is playing the woman card, then deal me in.
Ugly-ass fucking lady. Let's see. You're going to put her right back here. She's got to be behind Joe Biden. I mean, not because she's a woman, but because she lost to Donald Trump. And forever will the name Clinton, Hillary Clinton, will most likely be linked with her philandering husband and sexual predator, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump. So good luck with that, lady. How's it looking back there? It looks all right. Let's fix this a little bit. Make sure you're behind Sleepy Joe. Okay. So that's, and there's one more thing I wanted to do before we get into the podcast is, let's do this. Hold on one second. Okay. So, in the past I've brought up breaking points and how I've kind of had an issue with just, my main issue with them is they're working 3 days a week. Like, what is that? Like, who works 3 days a week? I'll tell you who, elitist. And this whole, I guess I'll have to rehash this really quickly. This whole, presenting they don't lie about what they are and what they represent. That's fine. That's the biggest difference between the mainstream news and independent news. However, it's more of a smokescreen, I guess, because, you know where they're aligned. And I don't know. I've started watching the show again, and it's not I don't have as many issues with it as I've had as far as their content goes. But the 3 day a week, I'm sorry, I really have a hard time with that. Like, you're going to ask people to pay a premium for your product only on the fact that they're getting it before everyone else, and you're going to ask and only work 3 days a week. Like, that is the definition of elitism. Who else in this country works 3 days a week? Like an actor?
The actor?
Remember Drama? I think when he got that show on Five Towns in Entourage, they made a comment to him one time when they were walking through the streets, like, don't you have to work? He's like, I'm on TV, bro. 3 workday weeks. So it's kind of the same thing. It's clearly just an elitist thing, and that's kind of my main issue. And I would even say more so now with Steven Crowder coming out and announcing that Mug Club is coming back. It's going to Rumble. And guess what? They're doing 5 days a week, not 4. Or 3 in the case of Breaking Points. But really quickly, let's look at Breaking Points. You can see kind of what they've been doing the last few days. You have this Matt Taibbi story that's really good. You don't see Ukraine here as much. They're talking about the J6 things. I mean, it's really not bad. Holding Pete's feet to the fire. Like, I kind of like with what they're going. Like I said, it's not the content that I have an issue with. It's just more or less this whole, like, we're like you, give us money so we can work 3 days a week. Like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Okay. So that is that. Let's get into our main story here. So this week it kind of came out that when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went to the Met Gala, that there were some, improper things going on there. So we're going to kind of talk about that really quickly, but let's go over the, what's mainly going on here. So the House Ethics Committee extended its investigation into Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on Thursday over allegations that she violated congressional rules by accepting impermissible gifts at the 2021 Met Gala. So the big picture of this is that you have the Office of Congressional Ethics, the OCE, released an 18-page report, which we're going to go through here in a second, not page by page. We'll just do the good stuff. That states that the board found substantial reason to believe that she accepted impermissible gifts. Well, that's weird, because didn't she spend her first term going after Trump over such things as the emoluments clause? Where is it? Because he was using his hotel in Washington, D.C.? I mean, it's a little hypocritical, but we'll get to that in a second. All right, so let's go actually to this report here. It kind of details everything. So here we have the Board of Congressional Ethics by a vote of no less than 4 members on June 17th, 2022. So that's a little concerning because they waited 6 months to release this report. Ordered it to be transmitted to the Committee of Ethics of the United States House of Representatives. So the first 10 pages of this is just, you can see it's, summary of allegations, jurisdiction, it kind of just breaks down what was going on. So let's do the allegations really quick. AOC may have accepted impermissible gifts associated with the attendance of her attendance at the Met Gala in 2021. If AOC accepted impermissible gifts, then she may have violated House rules, standards, and conducts, and federal law. Now, for all of you who are basically sitting there unzipping your pants, getting ready for this circle jerk of, happiness here. That was probably horrible. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. Nothing's going to happen here. This is just going to be a recommendation. This is kind of like when you get a speeding ticket, or no, here's a better one. This is kind of like when you get pulled over for not having your registration, and the cop's like, yeah, I'm going to write you a ticket, but as long as you pay for your registration by the time your court date hits, this will go away. And that's essentially what is happening here. So let's really get to the allegation. That's what, page 13. Let me go down here. Okay. So this is kind of what they're saying she did that was wrong. So let's start here at the top. All right, so we're actually going to go a little backwards here, kind of get some background on the Met Gala and AOC's attendance here. So starting here at the top. The Met hosts an annual costume benefit, commonly known as the Met Gala, in order to raise funds for the Museum Institute. And, okay, so that's kind of what this one is saying. The Met Gala provides the costume. So just giving you a little background. This next one is Condé Nast, which is essentially, well, here it goes. It identifies itself as a global media company that produces some of the world's leading print, digital, video, and social brands, including Vogue, which is obviously run by Anna Wintour. Did I miss... Director of Vogue, Met trustee and chair of the annual Met Gala. So essentially this lady runs Vogue and the Met Gala. So Ocasio-Cortez was invited to the Met Gala in 2019, 2020, and 2021. She could not attend in 2019, and the 2020 Met Gala was canceled due to COVID-19. However, Rep. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, attended the Met Gala in 2021 along with her partner, Riley, the soy boy Roberts. Oh, whoops, I think I might have added that last part in there myself. As discussed more fully before, Rep. Ocasio-Cortez received a series of goods and services for which she did not pay for until the OCE opened this review. Well, that's a little weird. So it's kind of like she didn't pay her bills or her taxes, and then the OCE or the IRS comes a-knocking, and then the bills get paid. Oh, but it doesn't end there. Let's go back to the article. Now we're going to go into the actual attendance. In 2021, Ocasio-Cortez was invited to attend the Met Gala with Mr. Roberts. Excuse me. There's a difference at this point. As part of her attendance, Rep. Ocasio-Cortez, as Ben Shapiro says, so fresh, so face, was provided with a couture dress, handbag, and shoes and jewelry. Now, 10 years ago, I would not have even known what that word couture meant. This was brought up to me recently, and okay, sure. That means something, I guess. She also received hair, makeup, transportation, and ready room services. That is code for a hotel room. Riley Roberts received a bow tie and shoes in advance of the event. Man, guys have it so easy when we go out. Oh, the guy just needed some shoes and a bow tie. He probably should have gone with a tie, but, whatever. Not like he gets to make that decision, right? So while Ocasio-Cortez appears to have now paid for the full rental value of the attire she wore to the Met Gala for the goods and services she and her partner received in connection with the September 2021 event, payment for these goods and services did not occur until after the OCE, or the OCE, contacted her in connection with this review. But for the OCE opening this review, it appears that the rep may have not paid for several $1,000s worth of goods and services provided to her. Now, again, this sounds bad on so many levels, and we're going to get into that in a minute, but it gets worse from there. On June 24th, 2021, Ocasio-Cortez, through a campaign staffer, accepted the invitation to attend the Met Gala. That sentence right there, that just shows you how easy a representative or someone in these congressional offices have it, because you have some underling to do everything for you. Hey, Phil, is that invitation come in yet? Good, send it back. We're going. I mean, it's just like you don't even have to do anything. It's like a judge who just sits in her chambers, plays golf all day, drinks with her buddies. The prosecution, the defense comes in, they're like, oh, we need to talk about this. And then they sit there for a few minutes and then they make a decision. Or if they need, a bunch of cops need a search warrant, they call the judge. Judge sits there and listens. Who knows if they're actually listening? And then they either rubber stamp it, sign it, or they don't. I mean, again, being these kind of government jobs, they're really easy, and this is kind of being spotlighted right here. Campaign staffer was told to expect a celebratory digital invitation in the coming weeks. On August 5th, campaign staffer received a celebratory digital invite in the form of an email from events@museum.org, metmuseum.org. So it's customary for fashion designers attending the Met Gala to dress gala attendees. According to shortly after she accepted the invitation, Vogue connected Ocasio-Cortez with Aurora James, the creative director and founder of the fashion brand Veliz? Sure, whatever. So this lady basically was the one who designed the Tax the Rich dress that everyone is the infamous dress, so to speak. The ironic infamous dress. So here she told the OCE that she retained a counsel to ensure her team complied with all the ethics rules. Campaign staffer echoed these same sentiments, noting that the counsel was hired in advance of this non-traditional event to ensure the Met Gala decisions were made in accordance with applicable ethics requirements. The campaign staffer worked with the counsel and Rep. Ocasio-Cortez to address compliance-related concerns involving attendance, attire, transportation, and other issues that arose in connection with the event. Documents produced by Rep. Ocasio-Cortez evidence her team working through some of these compliance-related concerns in advance of the Met Gala. So they were able to provide proof that they were trying to, not be shady, is what that says. And what that proof is, they didn't say, but it was provided, AOC told the OCE, that determination was made in advance of the Met Gala and in conjunction with her team and counsel that she would personally be paying for the attire and services received in connection with the Met Gala as opposed to paying with campaign or official funds, which makes sense. She can't use her office to personally benefit herself. Like, how is her going to the Met Gala? It's not in her district. You know what I mean? So this is something she's doing on her own. She should be paying for it, not people who donate. So then on September 13th, 2021, she attended the Met Gala. And then this kind of just talks about, they provided her transportation, access to a hotel room, a ready room. I guess it's a ready room because they didn't sleep there, so they say. Come on. We know Riley got some action that night.
She's got the Jimmy legs.
Jimmy legs.
Jimmy leg.
You know, or maybe he got pegged. I don't know. I'm not in the bedroom, folks. I'm not in the bedroom. I'm just speculating here. Hair and makeup services, a dress, handbag, shoes from brother, whatever the fuck this is, and transportation to the Met Gala. And she's on the hook for all of this. And then they also provided Riley with shoes and a bow tie. So there you go. He didn't have the choice of a tie or a bow tie. They're like, wear the bow tie, bitch, and deal with it. This is going to go into a little bit more into detail of what she got. Now, this is kind of funny. Had her hair done by Stylist One. So the person didn't want their fucking name named. They didn't name names. They didn't name names.
You got me blacklisted at Hop Sings? She named names.
Stylist One on September 13, 2021, in preparation for the Met Gala. This hair service was arranged for and coordinated by employees of Condé Nast in connection with the Vogue video. So it sounds like this was put together by Anna Wintour and company. And if there's a video of her being, dolled up and done, and that was why they had that video done. But she was still on the hook for paying that stylist. On September 21st, 2021, Condé Nast advised the agency representing Stylist One, Streeters, that billing would be handled by campaign staffers and copied campaign staffers, on that email. Okay, so they CC'd the campaign staffer on the email. On September 30th, 2021, Streeters provided, this is interesting, so they call it Style. Okay, so Streeters is probably the name of the company, but they wouldn't name the stylist. Streeters provided campaign staffer with a $477.73 bill for the services. Wow. A lot of money to get your hair did these days. Between September 30th, 2021 and February 24th, 2022, so we're talking at least 5-6 months, the bill for the hair services went unpaid. Unpaid. Wow. Unpaid. During that time, Streeter's accounts receivable department made repeated attempts to secure payment, culminating in a February 23rd, 2022 email threatening to file a complaint with the New York City's Office Labor Policy and Standard for Workers against AOC for Congress if payment is not deposited before the end of business tomorrow. And guess what? February 24th rolls around. February 2 days after the OS first contacted Rep. Cortez staff about this review, the campaign staffer paid for AOC's hairstyling services. Well, it sounds like someone had their hand in the cookie jar, was asked, why was your hand in the cookie jar? And then they just said, it's not. And they dropped the cookie and removed their hand. And then the government, like I spotlighted earlier with your registration, they're like, that's fine. Unless you're just if this cookie jar was in like a Senate or, House kitchen, house like the Washington D.C. house, and AOC had her hand in the cookie jar, kind of like she did here. Hey, is your hand in the cookie jar? No. Okay. I guess maybe I made a mistake. But if that was you and me in that same kitchen, with our hand in that same cookie jar, we'll be spending 4 years in jail, even if there is camera angles, camera footage showing that your hand or you weren't even anywhere near the kitchen. And that is a J6 reference, if anyone is wondering about that. Okay, let's plow on here. So, when interviewed, campaign staffer did not provide the OS with a clear explanation for these payment delays, aside from acknowledging that it fell off her radar. Oh, jeez. I forgot. Hey, did you do your homework today? My dog ate it. What is this? There's clearly no accountability in Washington, even when you do blatant shit like this. And she often received emails from Streeters at times when she could not focus on their payment requests. Campaign staffer told the OS that Rep. Ocasio-Cortez would periodically follow up with her about needing to pay for these hairstyling services, but that AOC was not aware at the time of the company's escalating payment demands. So what you have here is a fall guy. That's what this is. And regardless of there being a fall guy or not, this is kind of how I look at this. You have someone who is running an office, someone who is the boss. And the boss is in charge of making sure all that stuff gets done in the office. Take away the fact that this is a lawmaker. Take away the fact that, the boss that you work with is your restaurant manager or your office manager, whatever. The point is they're running an office. Even in a restaurant, you're still at, your office is just happens to make food, but essentially you're running an office. And when these things don't get done, that is a reflection on the leadership, not the staff. The staff aren't the ones making the decisions. The staff didn't decide to go to the Met Gala. The staff didn't decide to not pay the hairstylist. That was her. But yet, the fall guy is taking it. I mean, this line right here, when she could not focus on their payment requests, Rep. Ocasio-Cortez was not aware at the time of the company's escalating payment demands. I mean, what does that even mean? You know what I mean? How is she not aware? Like, I have a big issue with this, because if AOC isn't being told by her staff what is going on in her office, that is definitely more of a reflection on her as a bad leader than it is, her just be like, whoopsie. Oh, I'm just, I mean, it's just like any other modern day woman. There's no accountability. It's everyone else's fault. And, don't bother to ask them to apologize or, take any kind of personal responsibility whatsoever. I mean, she is the embodiment of your everyday, your modern day woman, I guess. What really has me kind of up the wall here, not even up the wall, just kind of like frustrated with this whole situation, is not only will the mainstream media not report on it. They minimally reporting are not. They're just not reporting on it. They don't want to talk about it. They know how bad this makes her look, and it's just not. It's not their prerogative, because they're state media. That's what that is. So I gotta fix this chair here. And what really bothers me about this is when she came into office, her was screaming about Trump. Like I said earlier, you're not paying his taxes, because he paid $750, I think, one year on his federal taxes. And for something, her claiming that that's unfair because it's less taxes than what a teacher or a server or a bartender makes. I mean, there is something to that, but there's also a reason why he paid less money. You know what I mean? When you're operating a business, you have a higher standard, your higher standard deduction. And so, I mean, I'm not going to say you're break down tax law. I mean, they probably lost a bunch of people already going into that little tangent. But the point is, she went after Trump for this, for what about Trump University? Remember that? Like, oh, Trump doesn't pay any. Okay. But remember, he doesn't pay his fair share. He doesn't pay his bills. Everyone has these examples of things Trump did in New York of him not paying people. Well, that's weird. Because look at what's going on right here. But wait, Joe. But wait. Trump's a swindler. What Trump did was wrong. Trump this. Trump the blah, blah, blah. Trump's NFTs. Yeah, well, I agree with you about the NFTs. I don't know what the fuck was going on there. And, I'd say he's made a lot of good moves. Well, he's made a lot. The Palestine, Ohio move was really good. He's campaigning. The campaign season is still, kicking off here. It's another episode, though. But here's the thing, for anyone who's trying to sit there and say, like, oh, well, what AOC did isn't nearly as bad as what Trump did. Oh, really? That's the route we're going to go down now. You can't parse this based on partisan lines. It's a horrible practice for anybody to stiff, anyone from compensation or services or both. It's not something you should do. It is not something that anyone in representative government should be doing, might I add. A few $100s. Or, a few $100s to a few $1,000s, it's still stealing and not paying, however you want to parse it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't say, oh, Trump is worse because he had a bigger bill that he had to pay. That's still stealing. Jesus Christ. I mean, the way people play team sport politics is just mind-boggling. And why this is so fucking hilarious to me is AOC claims to represent the working class. She's for the people, right? I mean, she fucked them out of a bunch of Amazon jobs, but she cares about people. She cares about the masses. She cares about poor people. She's not taking this job to serve herself. What? What are you talking about? It's not the fact that you're speeding down the road like a maniac. I mean, everyone's got to be somewhere at some point. Everyone's got a reason for what they do, selfishly or not. But for me, I think what the issue becomes is not that you are speeding. It's that when you get pulled over by the police, you're like, I was doing 45. Your radar is broke. Like, okay, now we've kind of walked this situation into something that is, it's just not good anymore. Like, clearly you had bad intentions from the get-go here. And as much as you would like to paint it to say, oh, I did this precautionary measure, I was braking as I was lane changing in between people. I mean, it doesn't really undo everything that you have just done, all the wrong. It just kind of shows you had nefarious motivations here from the get-go. To use this platform that she has, her congressional platform, she's basically an influencer in Congress, and you have this afforded to you while using, hypocritical rhetoric is the embodiment of what, is wrong with our national politics. This is just really sad because you have between, Trump has his things, she sits there and rallies against him, and then turns around during that whole time, she's doing the same thing. And I think this is just more this says more about our federal politics and politicians than I think it does about I was going to say the people, but it does say a lot about the people too. There's no accountability. You could do whatever you want. You could blatantly go to the Met Gala. Oh, wait. Before, you know what? I'm jumping way far ahead here. Let's look at this really quickly. Let me find this. Okay, this just shows you how fucking ridiculous the lack of accountability is. All right, look at this. So up top here was September 19, 2021. Janet, I don't even know what that is. A publicist associated with the company provided a campaign staffer with a bill for $2,283.93. So this is what AOC owed the designer, the company she works for. And then a day later, on September 20th, 2021, another bill was provided to the campaign staffer, this time totaling $990.76. So just look at the itemized side. They knocked off $1,000 off the dress. They increased the handbag and jewelry rental by, what is that? 380 or something like that. And they knocked the shoes down to $160 from $635. And of course there's fucking sales tax in New York. 8%. Good God. Jesus Christ. And now you're talking about, this is over 22. I mean, that's less than a 50% deduction. So what the hell is going on there? Let's look. When asked about the billing revisions, campaign staffer acknowledged calling Miss P to discuss the original bill. Campaign staffer told the OS that she understood that the shoes would be rentals and not a purchase, so she flagged that for P. She also told the OS that she wanted to confirm the gown rental price was correct. According to the campaign staffer, prior to the Met Gala, she had some general discussions regarding the overall rental cost and was told the final bill would likely be around $1,000. Well, yeah, I mean, it was, right? $1,300, around $1,000. Because the original bill had an error regarding the shoe purchase and was higher than expected, campaign staffer asked Ms. P to confirm the overall billing was correct. And then so there you go. So they get this bill. Clearly they were not happy with that. So they made, she didn't want, what did she say? She didn't want the jewelry or something like that. Correct, according to because the original bill had error regarding the shoe so she wasn't purchasing the shoes. Okay. So the shoes, $635. They're like, oh, no, she's not purchasing them. All right, we'll take, what is that? Like almost this 1/6 off of it. Like, I mean, that's crazy. Well, maybe it's more than that. Well, whatever. We'll do the dollar amount because I can't do percentages in my head. Apparently, I mean that's close to $500 they took off there. It's just like, okay, and then could not explain why the gown rental were reduced from $1,300 to $300. I mean, it makes sense. Okay, she wasn't buying the shoes. Fine. So that's why that went down. But can you explain why the dress went from $1,300 to $300? Well, she couldn't. So the OCE wanted to talk to Miss P on the matter, who declined to cooperate. And guess who also declined to cooperate? Aurora James. I think that is down here somewhere. Here it is. The following witnesses, by declining to provide requested information to the OCE, did not cooperate with the OCE review. Aurora James, Brother Velas, and Janet P. And they ended this thing with the committee ethics issue subpoenaing Aurora James Brother Velas and Janet P. Because I bet you're going to find a lot of those answers in the internal communications or just in general questions from them. So, yeah, I say, all of that stuff we talked about in the beginning leading up to this itemized bill here, okay, you can kind of explain it, hey, we wanted to go to the Met Gala, we took these precautions to make sure the campaign or taxpayer dollars weren't being used to pay for this. AOC is going to pay for it herself. Okay, and, things happen, things get screwed up, fine, we can give you that. But then you get the bill, and it goes from $22.83 to $9.90. It's basically all right in here. I'm not going to read it because it's just boring. It's, word speak. But essentially what this does kind of say is that you cannot receive anything at a discount. You know what I mean? So, like, if you're going to a baseball game, let's say you happen to be a politician in Chicago, a federal politician in Chicago with a congressional district just outside of Wrigley Field, or, not in, whatever, outside of the city, and you would like to go to the game, and your office makes a call to Tom Ricketts, and you happen to be a Republican because, you're out there in Western Illinois, and you say, hey, Tommy, I'd like to, go to the Cubs game. They're playing the White Sox, like to take the boy. He's harassing me because he likes the White Sox. What can you do for me about tickets? So, yeah, we can blah, blah, blah. I'll give you 50% off. Not a big deal. Oh, by the way, there's this bill we need. I mean, does it happen? I don't know. But this is why they don't want you receiving gifts like this. Because if you're getting something for, if you're getting a gift, I mean, this is obvious. No, they don't want any quid pro quos. And when you're receiving an itemized bill for however, what is it, $1,200-something, or no, the dress was $1,300. The shoes were almost, six or what am I trying to do? Yeah, here we go. It was almost $6-something. And, I mean, I think it was $2,200. They reduced it down to $1,100. It just doesn't look right. Maybe there's an explanation for it. But if there was, why didn't these people want to talk to the OCE? Now they have to get subpoenaed. I mean, I had an uncle who one time told me, "Hey, whenever you're hiding, it does show guilt if you like it or not." And that's kind of where we're at with this one. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us this week. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Ready Said Podcast Facebook page. Give it a like. We are on YouTube. Please like this video. Go over to the channel. Give us a subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified every time we post a video. Don't forget we have Ready Set Clips. It's on the YouTube channel. I put it on its own playlist, so everything that gets clipped out will also be there. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for us, everyone. All right. Thanks for tuning in. This is the ever-evolving, never-ending Ready Said podcast. If society's a joke, then we're just here for the first set. We'll see you later, you fucks.